Yes, chat update. Got it. Cool. Thanks. All right, and that's coming through there too, right? Say something one more time.
Something one more time.
Cool. Pose. All right. Cool. Now we will just wait for Brandon to join. Oh, Brandon's here. How long you been here?
He's here. He just showed up.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can as well.
Well, that is amazing.
The camera automatically switching based on who's talking is tripping me out.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been doing because back in the day, we did Skype, which doesn't do that. So if we had like 4 people on, then I'd have to have 4 boxes on the overlay, and it was just a massive pain in my ass.
To set it all up and everything.
Yeah, because I'd have to have a different overlay depending on how many guests are on. And then if we had like a 6-person round table for a movie release, it was just a fucking nightmare. Brandon, did you see your phone?
What?
Did you see your phone?
No, I didn't.
I thought you might want to be privy to that information.
You are not in my earphones, by the way. You're on a speaker that's going into the room.
That's fine.
Could you hear the COD going on in the background before that?
I didn't hear it, so I'm assuming no.
All right.
Do you have the Yeti?
Sound then.
What?
Said you probably can play with the sound on. They couldn't hear it.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
I also wasn't listening for it.
Am I looking at this text message?
The most recent one I sent you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I just wanted to make sure that was okay.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought that was in reference to something earlier.
Oh, no. Beatmaster, how's it going, dude? Welcome to the chat room. I like that Beatmaster's a regular again, too. Beatmaster's a good dude. We need to get him on the show sometime.
Yeah, we should, since he's always around.
I mean, there's no more appropriate guest for you and I to have on our podcast than a guy named Beatmaster. It just kind of works. Lamp. I love Lamp. How are you tonight, Beatmaster? How was your week?
Sounds like someone's fapping.
Fapperoo.
You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
Did you know that? I need to get back to my
What the hell was
soundboard.
that?
My soundboard.
I'm gonna be falking your ass later.
That's right. You will. Hey, you're not getting any bleed through from me just having the sound coming into the room, are you?
Hello. No.
Thanks for that.
That's about as loud as I'm
Headphone-
ever gonna
headphone
get.
warning.
So.
It's funny
Yes.
that those Yetis work better in terms of that than the fucking PR40s.
Yeah, no, dude, I am so blown away by the quality of the Yetis.
For
And I mean,
wireless
having the arm makes a big difference.
Huge. Getting
Oh,
it
is that
up
what
off
is
the
that what
desk.
you've got? Do you have the whole like the Yeti caster?
I don't have the Rode PS1 boom mic. I did a bunch of research because I wasn't gonna pay $100 just for an arm.
No, right.
Um,
It's
but
like
I
200
found-
bucks for the package. Fuck
Yeah,
off.
exactly. I did get the official blue shock mount.
That's So I got the whole Yeti caster, which was like 175, and it comes with the
Correction,
arm, the
you should
Yeti,
say
and the
you
shock
got
mount.
2, so you spent like $400.
You can sit there and smoke.
No, I'm gonna go
Did
outside.
you Yeah, and then I did a bunch of research and I found a generic off-brand boom arm that doesn't sag at all when the Yeti's fully extended on it.
Yeah,
So
so I was looking at some because I had another Yeti that I wound up selling to Brandon because I wanted to buy the Yeti caster bundle. Um
Like
and
cooler?
No, this.
and
2 of those.
but the only thing that I had read was because of the weight of the Yeti mic, there were certain
right.
ones that it's okay, B. I don't think Spat has any tattoos either. Do you have any tattoos?
I got one on my arm.
Oh,
back
you do
from when I
have a
was, like,
tattoo.
18. Yeah, it's a fucking tribal
Jesus.
dragon.
You've got like
armband.
the stereotypical I've got one tattoo,
yeah.
bro.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see, what year was that? That was 2003, 2004.
Cool. Brent, I changed the start time to 9:15, so if you want to go have a smoke, go have them.
Perfect.
Cool.
Like you were gonna start without me anyway.
Well, no, I wasn't.
You'll fucking wait and you'll like it.
Even my wife's been like, dude, you need to get that covered up with something else, something nerdy or something.
Yeah.
This-
I love it.
Sorry, I'm trying to comment.
I hear voices.
I hear dead people.
I'll be back in a minute.
Cool. Hey, Spatula, you want a sound warning?
Jesus. Why?
Hold on, throwback.
Why are you
N60
like this?
N64 days.
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm
Jesus
going
Christ.
to throw
Smash
my shit at you.
Put it
That is
away.
What are you doing?
What the hell is going on?
I'm dying. That's what's going on. Jesus. I'm so glad I have the splash screen up for the stream.
Yeah, right?
I wish I had this. I wish I had this ready for that.
I am Brandon.
Ah, fuck, man. That was horrible. Did I ask HR first?
Luckily,
about
it
the
didn't
soundboard?
go full screen camera because he wasn't saying anything.
Well, no, I have the splash screen up on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
no
just
one
talking
can see
about
it.
for me.
Oh, yeah. It's nothing I haven't accidentally seen before. Oh shit, I forgot I had this.
I want to eat the dick.
So, funny story behind that, because everybody just heard that on the stream too. So, but the couple people might not know what it was. So, back in the day, before Catherine and I separated, Catherine and a friend of Brandon, who became a mutual friend of ours, Ashley, were going to do a Walking Dead podcast, which I wanted nothing to do with because fuck that show. But anyway, so me and Brandon were out doing something. I don't know if we went to a movie or what, but her and Ashley were here recording like their episode 0. And I got that recording to, edit it. And Ashley had said, like, I don't know how close to get to the microphone. I don't want to eat the dick. So I edited out the don't wanna. So now it's
I want to eat the dick.
now she used to
You
be a
have-
regular.
You have that forever.
She used to be a regular in the chat. She was always a fan of the shows. So it was great. Whenever she'd show up, I'd make sure to play that bumper. It's always a good time. I gotta check and see if I'm sure it's probably like the usual 48 hours for the website to go live again. I can't believe that. It's supposed to be on auto renew. I can't believe that fucking relapsed.
Is relapse the right word here? Lapsed.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, unless it's happened before, then I guess it is a relapse.
Probably. Yeah, because the InkedGeekStudios.tv URL that's on the splash screen is also not active because that one didn't auto renew either.
Well, it's funny because it says Geek Studios TV diagonally across it, and then down the bottom it says .com.
Because .com is the website. .tv used to go to the Twitch page.
Oh, it was a redirect.
Yeah, but just that way it would look a little bit more professional. But it didn't auto renew, so we'll see. I mean, I love our live viewers, and I'm glad we have the ones that we have. But we're not big enough for me to worry about spending $30 for a .tv.
Oh hell no.
Uh,
Man, I really hope they make.
Oh,
a
is he
new
back?
Conquer.
He's been so quiet. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good if I unmute the mic.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were there.
I didn't realize I didn't unmute the mic.
Let's go to Moog. Moog.
I thought I had a mic mute button on my stream deck.
All right, apparently that doesn't want to work. Live streamers, give me one quick second. I have to change something that I cannot change while not live, so I will be back, or we will be back in like 30 seconds. All right, there we go. That'll work. Maybe.
Changing bit rate.
Changing resolution. Apparently the iMac doesn't like to output at 1080p. My guess is it's the Mac OS version of OBS because it is definitely watered down compared to the PC version.
I need to get some. I need to do some kind of like shitty promo giveaway to get a bunch of followers on my Facebook page so I can get a higher bit rate and resolution because they're
100, right?
locked in. Huh?
It's 100, right?
It's 100, and I think you have to apply, but I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah. No,
But-
I keep getting pop-ups for that because I am qualified on everything, but I'm like 12 followers short for my streamer page.
Yeah, my
the-
streamer page. It keeps
Actually,
saying,
you know what? I
like,
should
hey,
check the
you might be-
podcast page
I'm not
because
used to
we've
this.
got like 300 followers on Facebook.
Who does?
Our studio.
No shit.
Yeah.
Everyone on
Um,
Facebook, I might know that.
Inked Geek Studios 290.
Wow. That's pretty
You
good for
could be
not
eligible.
doing a podcast consistently for like a year.
Well, I don't think many people bother to go unlike Facebook pages.
Well, no. but
Yeah,
It's the same.
because they don't even because it doesn't show up anywhere that you haven't posted.
Yeah,
in
we're not doing
6
anything.
months.
But I don't know if Facebook would do that. Oh yeah, we don't. We can't because it's not for live streamers. It's for game streamers. So the podcast wouldn't qualify.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I mean whatever. They want to market to a certain thing. They can market to a certain thing. That's all well and good.
Yeah, it just sucks that you try to grow your channel on Facebook, so you try to put out your best quality stream that you can, but they lock you to like 720 and 4000 bit rate.
Yeah, I mean 4K is not horrible.
No,
you
4K is what you
get
need for 720.
Yeah, I mean you get a little bit of pixelation here and there, but it's not too bad. But whatever, it is what it is. That's why I like doing restream because like I can just out to 6 and then it disperses it to all the caps for all the separate ones.
Yeah. I think I switched my out to 720 at 6, which doesn't really matter, but
Right. Now that I'm doing mostly console on the PC side of things with gaming, I do 1080/60 because I can do 1080 on Twitch and Mixer and YouTube,
Mhm.
obviously. But which is the other reason for kind of doing the console thing is just because I can get a better quality stream, and I'm not.
yeah, because you're
not-
not using
Right.
your PC graphics
Right.
as
So-
well as
We'll see.
I should be able to relatively soon build a streaming PC because I got a new case, that white one that I switched everything into.
Right.
My buddy gave me his old GTX 970 after he upgraded to the 2080 Ti. So I've got a spare
Right.
video card laying around.
He upgraded from a 20. What did he have before that?
A 970?
Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm going to swap my RAM out because I've got 16 gigs right now, but I'm going to up it to 32 and get the Corsair Vengeance RGB. And so I'll have an extra 16 gigs of memory laying around. So really all I'll need at that point is a power supply, motherboard, and processor. And those don't need to be beefy for a streaming PC.
No, not at all. Shut the PC right now. I'm getting some weird latency things. All
I'm
right,
gonna go grab
whatever.
another cup
We're
of
good to go.
coffee and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Get your shit. I gotta fill my vape up anyway. All right. All right. Speaking of COD, I've got to go onto Twitch and claim my skin. Because there's a cool little free skin for Twitch Prime members right now. And because I have Prime on both the studio account and my account, I can claim it for Xbox and for PC. Because cool. Ugh. Was there a purpose to that, or were you just showing me something?
No purpose.
Oh, okay. And the fact that you just mute your mic and you're just kind of watching the show.
Yep.
Ugh.
What is Spatula? You game with him, right? Or
Yeah,
is
he's a
he-
streamer. Yeah.
I know the name, but obviously I don't know him, so
Yeah, we played Division together.
that's why I know the name. Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
always in the game.
Yeah, and he's a big Borderlands guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where you'd see him there. I mean, he hasn't been on in a little while just because we've all kind of gotten bored of it because they haven't put out any new content because they suck.
Damn it. Yeah.
She playing multiplayer or Blackout?
I'm playing zombies.
Oh, one of those people.
My wife just threatened to eat without me. I told her to go right ahead.
I'm gonna eat without you. You better hurry.
Yeah. I was getting coffee. She's like, didn't the podcast start already? I was like, nah, they're always late.
Yes, yes, we are. You're like a fashionable menstrual cycle, always a little bit late.
Fashionable menstrual cycle.com.
.org. .tv.
.tv, yeah.
All right, let's get this shit rolling. Going official in 3, 2, 1. The following radio program you're about to listen to is provided to you, the listener, by Inked Geek Studios. Get this and other great shows at inkedgeekstudios.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mind of Geek, episode 4. I am your host, Nate, and I am joined, as always, by Brandon. Brandon, hello.
Hey, episode 4, volume 2, volume 3.
Episode 4, volume. Yeah. I mean, I guess technically it's like season 7, episode 4.
Fuck you. We'll start the show over again and again. And again.
Yeah, that other laugh you heard there is a longtime gamer / streamer friend of mine. He's been in the chat room a couple times, but popping his Ain't Geek Studios cherry this evening. Brad, better known as Friendly Spatula, welcome to Mind of a Geek.
Thanks for popping our cherry.
Yeah.
Or thanks for letting us pop your cherry.
Pleasure is definitely mine.
Oh God.
It certainly is. Anyway, yeah, so we are, man, this is 4 weeks. This is a month in a row for the first time in a long fucking time. But
don't call it a streak.
But almost more crucial than that, this is our first week back where we don't have a Corey on the show.
That's true. No Corey, but hey, at least we got our cherries popped. Shit.
We did. And it's cool to have Brad on. He's a cool guy, even though we've been basically arguing back and forth with each other for the past month.
Yeah, but it's always the same argument.
It is. Fuck Epic. Hashtag.
I'm sure we'll end up talking about
hashtag boycott Epic. Right. But yeah, so anyway, the last few weeks back, for those that have been tuning in, we kind of had major focal points. It was episode 9 when we first came back, and then it was like Old Republic, stuff like that, and then Avengers last week. So this week's just gonna be kind of casual, talk about whatever. A big hello to the chat room, spread across all the different areas, Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, everything. Hello, chat. So a big shout out to you guys. And if you guys have anything that you want to talk about in the chat, by all means, speak up, say hello. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's been one of those weeks. There hasn't been a whole lot going on considering the last 3 big weeks that we've had with major releases, major news. We did get the 3rd episode, getting the 4th episode of the new season of Game of Thrones tomorrow night.
So how can we talk about?
Well, that's okay. We can still talk about it. I don't mind if it gets spoiled, but yeah. So after tomorrow night, there's 2 episodes of that, right?
I've seen it, so we can talk about it all you want. It's been a full week.
Yeah,
I've started it. I started again because like I said, I got about halfway through season 1 before I just got bored of it. So I started again, and I did episode 1, so where the kid gets pushed out the window because the dude's fucking his sister or whatever. In Game of Thrones fashion, right? But yeah, how do you guys feel about this new season so far? Like, does it feel like it's being sent off properly? Like, is it? I've heard that it's been rushed. I've heard that people love it. I've heard that it's not living up to the hype.
Man, I've loved this season because you can actually feel everything coming to a fruition and coming to a close. Especially with this last episode where they had the Battle of Fire and Ice and how that all ended. It ended kind of the way we thought it would.
Well, they hyped it up like everybody was going to die. All your favorite characters are going away. But in classic George R.R. Martin fashion, they rope-a-doped us, and everyone survived for the most part, except
so far.
But in terms of that battle, who really died that we... like all these seasons building up to the White Walkers, for nothing.
Yeah,
so far.
But we've only really been building up to the White Walkers for the past season or 2?
With any steam, yeah, but I mean, it's the first thing that we see in the show.
Yeah.
With the Rangers north of the wall,
Yeah.
And the deserter who gets beheaded. Man, I tell you that...
fucking closet fan, because
that was the first episode.
I don't even recall that shit anymore.
No, because like watching that first episode again, it brought me back to what irked me about the first time I watched it. In that book, in the first book, which is loosely the first season, one of the most defining characteristics of Ned Stark is the way he raises his son. And in that scene in the book, there's a very long speech about why he was the one that had to swing the sword. Like, because, he obviously sentenced him to death because he was a deserter, but how it was important that he was the one that swung the sword, because a king who sentences people to death but doesn't carry out that sentence his own kind of loses his feeling with death, and it doesn't become as detrimental and important to him anymore. And he wanted to pass that along to his son. And again, watching episode 1, that whole message and lesson that he was trying to teach his son is completely washed over like it doesn't matter. And that really bugged me the first time I watched it, because of all the things you're going to cut out, like the way Ned raises his son, especially as important as that character has become in the later seasons, because he's still kind of an important player now, right? Young Stark.
Which one?
The boy.
Bran?
Yeah.
Bran, the one that got pushed out the window, the three-eyed raven?
Yeah, like he's a big deal, right? So the way he's
one of the biggest deals.
Yeah, so the way he was raised and the way he was nurtured by his family is vital to the character that he becomes, and they just kind of passed over it like he wasn't going to be important.
Yeah, and he's super important, and the whole thing with the White Walkers coming was the Night King trying to get to whoever at the time was the three-eyed raven.
Right.
He taught, I don't know if it was, I think it was last week's episode where he was talking about how the Night Kings tried to kill him 3 different times and always failed.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to try it again. I will say, though, to kind of tangent a little bit, staying with HBO, in the process of like, yeah, let's try and watch Game of Thrones again, I stumbled across this little show called Barry.
Barry's so good.
I've not seen Barry yet.
I am in love with this show. I mean, one, it's Hater, and Hater can do no wrong. But it's Hater, and I forget the actor's name, but the actor that played Victor Zsasz in Gotham,
Anthony Kerrigan.
Yes, and he plays a gay Chechen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Chechnyan, whatever. And he's so fucking good.
I haven't seen him in this show yet, but he's one of my favorite actors currently.
You haven't seen him in Barry?
No, I saw probably the first 3 episodes, and that's when the last.
You must have seen him then, because he's in the first episode
of season 2.
No, of season 1. I've already met him. He is the dude that hires Barry to kill the actor, working for the fat guy.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that's
since I've seen it.
He's the one that's obsessed with the lipstick cameras, so they always get pissed at him for it. But anyway, this show is incredibly fun, and I like it. And Hater is great. His handler, again, I forget the actor's name. He plays the man in the high castle in The Man in the High Castle, but he's also the stapler guy from Office Space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have HBO Go or HBO Now and you haven't watched Barry yet. I think like a third through season 2 right now, and it's an incredibly good watch. And they're quick seasons. They're like 25-minute episodes.
I only ever have HBO when there's a season of Game of Thrones going on. So now that we've got one for the next month or so, I'm gonna go through and binge Barry because
binge Barry.
Yep.
And then, I mean, do we have any other TV talk before we change subjects? Season 5 of Bosch came out. If anyone watches that, that's an Amazon exclusive. It's a great cop drama.
My wife does.
I just finished season 5. It was really good. Season 6 is confirmed, coming in April of 2020. So, because 5 just dropped it, but it's not. Amazon's really good about going, hey, you like this show, we're going to continue it. Unlike Netflix, which fuck them for canceling Santa Clarita. I'm still angry about that.
I tried to watch a couple episodes of that and I couldn't do it.
I really like Tim Oliphant,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. He was really funny in this. Yeah. But yeah. So Bosch and then Designated Survivor got picked up by Netflix. I don't think that was news last week. I think that got announced this week too. So for anyone that watches that show, seasons 1 and 2 are streamable on Netflix, and season 3 is coming in June. So lots of big TV news this week, which is cool.
Yeah.
because it's always nice, especially now that I'm at a place at work where I have connection again. I can stream everything on my phone at work. So I can watch more shows again.
Must be nice.
Yay. You know, it beats driving a milk truck.
It so does.
Yeah, right.
I think everything beats driving a milk truck, man.
Yeah, I could imagine. So I want to talk very briefly about, I mean, I don't know how many wrestling people we have in the chat. I know Spatula's loosely wrestling.
Not
but
really. I've
very
watched Monday
loosely.
Night Raw. I've watched Monday Night Raw when there's nothing else to watch. A couple times, but that's
but you're
about it.
not somebody who refuses to watch it. Like, you're not an anti-wrestling person.
No, I understand the draw.
So kind of a big deal. For those that are fans of WWE, Dean Ambrose last Sunday or the Sunday prior had his farewell send off with the Shield, and he is now done. His contract with WWE is over, and out of nowhere, a well-produced, what looks to be well-funded, essentially teaser trailer of what is going to be him, but no longer under the WWE character of Dean Ambrose. He is now Jon Moxley, and it is a really cool video. The production quality is there, and I'm excited to see where it's going to take him. Brandon, I know I sent you the link. Did you get a chance to watch the video?
No, I never watched it, but now I didn't realize that's who that was. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so he's in jail, and I think that's the whole thought, is he's in prison, like his personal persona has been imprisoned by WWE and molded to how they want it.
And now he's
right.
free.
So he breaks out
I
of
zoned out on what you just said. So you said he was a free agent, or is this AEW?
Well, that's what we don't know, because there are no brand markings on the video.
Weird.
So
It's gotta be AEW. What other promo would he have? He would leave WWE and then come back.
The only thing
Let me ask you
with
this: did you think that the production value was that of WWE or something else? Did it look, from what I saw, like just from the screen cap, it looked gritty?
It's well done. It looks like it's professionally done. However,
but does it look like it's professionally done in a PG-13 kind of way?
No. No, because when he's climbing over a barbed wire fence to get out, the barbed wire gets caught on his wrist, and he yanks it off the fence and wraps it around his hand and gets his hand covered in blood.
But does the skin come off in flaps?
Well, no, it's not like it's not Walking Dead. But it's beyond what WWE would allow. I don't remember the last time they put barbed wire on TV. So it's definitely not like it's not like they're keeping his contract a secret and he's coming back rebranded. I definitely think it could be Impact, but I doubt it. My guess would be,
I don't think you'd get a name like him going from down to Impact. What Impact
no,
is
typically. Yeah, I mean, Impact is a great stepping stone for independent wrestlers who are making their way forward.
Have you watched Impact lately? I don't watch wrestling consistently, but when I do check it out,
I tune in when there's a wrestler that we saw live at Limitless there. Like whenever Jordan Grace has a match, I'll tune in. And then, I follow Scarlett Boudreaux anywhere it's possible to follow her because it's Scarlett Boudreaux. So whatever she does on Impact, I watch. But yeah, no, I've never tuned in there. They're on Twitch, but they don't have the VODs, so you can't go watch them whenever you want. Like, you have to watch them when they're live.
Right.
And I have this thing with watching TV, that's why I like streaming. I want to watch it when I want to watch it.
Right.
But I'm excited to see where he goes.
Basically solely to YouTube at this point.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes. Whether it's AEW or whether it's the indie scene. Could you imagine how badass it would be if Randy got Jon Moxley at Limitless?
Yeah, it'd be nuts.
It wouldn't be unheard of. Like, he's had Jack Swagger, he's had Hornswoggle.
Bryce, he just had Tommy Dreamer, man.
Tommy Dreamer, Marie Vachon, who was Victoria in WWE, is there Friday. Mm-hmm. So, he's got the draw to pull those kind of names in. So, seeing Ambrose in that kind of setting, I bet that would be a brutal match, no matter who he fought. Like, could you imagine seeing like Ambrose versus Chris Dickinson? The Dirty Daddy. Yeah, I mean anybody that they put him against would be a lot of fun. Or you know who I bet would be good would be him versus AR Fox. That would be another good match because we haven't seen AR Fox in a while either. But yeah,
Who's the dude with the long hair that had that match with AR Fox? I can't remember his name.
Josh
Big-
Briggs. Wait,
yeah, Josh Briggs.
yeah,
That's a
I
match
mean, he
I'd
was.
like to see. That dude was good.
Yeah, he was there. He's still recovering from an injury because he does that finishing move where he has the guy up in the air and then just drops him onto his knees.
Right.
And
Well,
when
that last show that I didn't stay all the whole way through, so I wouldn't have known if he was there or not. But
yeah, no, he was there, but then it was like a week or two later at I believe Evolve in Massachusetts. He did that injury, and so he's already proclaimed that he is not doing that finishing move anymore. Because it was that move, and it popped his hip out of place, and he tried to pop his hip back in place in the ring.
Wow.
And he said it was the worst thing he ever fucking did. Last little tidbit of wrestling news since we're on the topic. Cody Rhodes tweeted out last week that we are going to get an announcement of where the AEW pay-per-view this month will be streamable, which is awesome because I want to see it.
Yeah, well, they've hyped it up for, 6 months?
With all the names that are going to be on there, plus all the Limitless alumni that we've seen in person that are going to be on there, it's going to be really great to see that.
MJF, yeah.
MJF, AC Baby's going to be there. Private Party is going to be there. A lot of people that we've been able to see over the last few years at Limitless.
You know who I haven't seen in a while is Top Shelf.
Top Shelf is taking a hiatus from wrestling.
Back to brewing?
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. He's doing the brewing and the bartender stuff and whatnot. And he does some commentary for some Massachusetts promotions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's I don't know if he's looking to rebrand himself or if he's...
He shouldn't, man. Look at the pop you got.
No, I know. Everybody loves him. I
don't know, maybe... I liked him solo more than I liked him with
well, yeah, because also coming out...
Dick or whatever
coming out to that song. Yeah, I mean, Whiskey Dick's a great tag team name, but... no, it was... No, I mean, it was really cool that we got to interview him. I got to get that old episode up on the feed somewhere because that was
despite being at a brewery, it was still great.
Yeah, the audio came out great. So branching from TV, branching from wrestling, let's go to what we all kind of know, which is gaming. And it was a big week for gaming. So it's appropriate that Spatula is here because he is the one that constantly has a raging hard-on for this game.
I do.
We got a massive gameplay reveal for Borderlands 3 live on Twitch. There were several streamers that were playing the game. They unveiled a new Twitch. What are they called?
Extension.
The extension, which you were saying is one of the most featured filled ones that we've had so far.
Yeah, not just feature filled, but I think that this is going to be the first extension where the people that developed the extension worked directly with the people that developed the game. So there's a Destiny extension that connects to their API that'll show you, what people's loadout and inventory and that kind of stuff is. But it works sometimes and it doesn't update instantly. With the Borderlands extension, I was actually watching this just to see, as one of the streamers went in to add a skill point into one of his skill trees after he leveled up, it instantly updated this extension. So you can see all 3 of the characters' skill trees. You can see what skills they have slotted. You can see what guns they have equipped, so Twitch viewers don't have to go, hey, what are you running? What shield is that? What gun are you using? They can just click the extension and see everything about it. But the coolest feature about it is there's, just like in Borderlands 1 and 2 and the pre-sequel, there's, in this one they're called red chests, but they're always special chests that you can find. If you have the extension enabled and you open one of the red chests, it actually Claptrap comes on in your overlay in game and says, hey, you've just kicked off a Twitch stream event or something like that. And if you're in chat at the time, you can hit join event, and then it'll randomly pick however many viewers of the people that joined, and they get to pick a gun from that exact chest to put into their own inventory next time they log on.
All right, that's really fucking cool.
It's really cool. So if they open a chest and there's a legendary in there and you win that, it goes right through shift into your account. It's really, really cool, and it's really well done.
That's really cool. Yeah, so, I didn't watch any of the live stream, but I had heard everybody talking about it. Obviously, it's everywhere.
The event was really, really cool that they put on in Hollywood.
They seem to be, other than the stuff that you and I have talked about the past month with the client stuff, outside of that, looking purely at the game, they seem to be running on all cylinders and hitting all the points that everybody wants them to hit.
It looks like a really good marriage of Borderlands 2 story, lore, ridiculousness, and kind of like Destiny 2 gameplay, which is one thing I really like about Destiny, because they added sliding. You can now slide. You can mantle. You can grab ledges and mantle up on top of them. They changed the way the skill system works, so you don't just have your ultimate. You have 3 different trees of ultimates that all act differently.
Okay.
So it looks to be like a good marriage between the two. I love Destiny's gameplay, but there's a lot about Destiny that I don't like. Yeah.
The game could be amazing, and it falls so flat.
Yeah.
They put out good content, but it's too few and far between. Like, when they put out good content, it usually will keep you satiated for like a week or two.
Right. It's kind of like Titanfall 2. I love Titanfall 2. The gameplay is great. Multiplayer was great, but there's nothing there.
Right. You can only play the same game mode over and over so many times.
Yeah.
Unless it's a battle royale, and then everyone just goes fucking bananas, apparently.
Yeah, which I just don't care about battle royale.
Yeah. No, I don't.
If I were to play...
Apex plays really well, and it's Titanfall, but if it had mechs, I would have been so into it.
But that has lost so much of its steam. Apex. It's got its fan base for sure, but where it was decimating Fortnite for about 2 or 3 weeks, now it's struggling to even break 5,000 viewers consistently.
Well, it's because
Fortnite. No, thank you.
Yeah, Fortnite's back being top dog.
Fortnite's thing is they got in right at the right time and built such a streamer base of people like Ninja and Tim the Tatman and all those huge
I think Dr. D too, right?
What's that?
Dr. D plays too, right?
Yeah, he jumps around between them.
Yeah.
Dr.
He seems to rage quit games every other week.
Yeah, exactly. But those guys have built their channels around Fortnite, and they've built their skill set around Fortnite, around that speed building and winning fights based on being able to build better instead of being able to shoot better. And then they get into something like Apex, where it is strictly outgunning the other guy and positioning via the map instead of throwing up a wall. That I think that maybe they just weren't having as much success. And so they go back to Fortnite,
I definitely watched some of Ninja's stuff, and despite what people feel about him, Ninja's a quality streamer, and he puts on an entertaining show. And before he was a Fortnite streamer, the kid was a pro gamer. So it's not like he gets a lot of shit, but that's just the natural progression of, if you're top dog, like, people are going to try and tear you down. But watching him is certainly entertaining. I can't get into Fortnite.
I can't either. I play shooters to shoot people, not to build.
Yeah. It's Minecraft with guns.
Yeah.
If they had a gameplay mode very similar, right? And I know we were talking about Borderlands, but we're breaking away a little bit, which is fine. But so, like, if you go back to the classic first-person shooter argument, which was Call of Duty versus Battlefield, right? And that was always what it was.
Light in the way.
Right, except for the fact that I'm a COD guy. And the
Yeah.
reason
No, Battlefield's better.
the reason that I'm a COD guy is because I don't want destructible environments in my shooters.
I do. Why would you not want destructible environments?
Because I camp. I play
Why would
strategic.
you not want tanks? Why would you not?
He said because I camp.
Because I camp. I play
lame and you suck.
No, because I play strategically.
Why would you not want to have to compensate?
I'm sorry,
for
but if
bullets?
I handed
Why
you a
would you
shot,
not want 64 versus 64?
because I don't want that.
Why
I
would
want
you not. Okay, if you're a camper, right? Let's go all the way back to Battlefield Bad Company 2. If you're a
Okay.
camper and you're a sniper, you have the ability to call in airstrikes. So if you have destructible environments, you can fucking rain hell on people and crush them in a building. Why would you not want to do that while you're camping?
because it's significantly
Because
more
you
fun to
don't have a fucking answer. Shut
because
up.
it's significant. I'm answering right now because it's
You don't have
significantly
one.
more
Not
fun to
legit.
play
I don't like
Nuketown with a shotgun and go like 127 and 2. No, so I am not an overly talented first-person shooter player. I never claimed to be. So I need to go with where my skill set lies. Very
Right,
similar
and
to
that
like
is why
the
I choose
Fortnite guys.
Battlefield, because for whatever reason, I'm amazing at Battlefield, terrible at COD.
Right. See, and I'm the opposite. I can run and gun and twitch shoot people all day long. The second you make it to where I have to strategically position myself, and because the maps are so large, move forward onto people, I'm just not any good at it. I'm always getting sniped. But back to my whole point of talking about like with Fortnite. So with Call of Duty and Battlefield, it was like Brandon said, it's 64 vehicles, etc. Whereas Call of Duty is 5-on-5 or 6-on-6, typically pretty small maps. And it's those two very different. But for a little while, and still up to this point with Battlefield 5, DICE has been trying to steal a little bit of Call of Duty's thunder, which they miserably failed this past year because Black Ops 4 was amazing. But anyway, and they added infantry mode to Battlefield. They took out the vehicles. They shortened the party size.
That's not the first time they've done that. They started.
Well,
doing
no,
that.
it's been there since I think 3, right?
3, yeah.
It's 3, yeah.
In 3 though, it was great. And Battlefield 4 and 5, and Hardline 2, not a big fan of.
Right.
They look great, but I'm not the player. I'm not too into it.
I'm over Old War. I mean, Battlefield 1 played great, but I don't care about World War
2142 and revamp that. That would be amazing.
I just give us Battlefield Modern Combat, very similar to, or give us slightly future. Call of Duty went.
Just redo that.
Call of Duty went a little too far with Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, which was a pile of fucking trash.
Despite that, though, I thought Advanced Warfare was super fun.
Advanced Warfare played well, but the wall running and shit, keep that in Titanfall. But yeah, so my whole point for bringing all this up is they tried to homogenize a little bit to steal some of that fan base. If Fortnite could come up with a gameplay mode where it was just a traditional battle royale with no building, and don't change the game, but make it an optional mode, I think that would bring more eyes to Fortnite.
They should do that. That's a great idea.
I would play it.
More eyes than number 1 or number 2 on Twitch.
Well, again, number 1 and number 2 on Twitch are huge, but when a lot of that is because of one streamer, that was why that shift was there, right? That was why Apex
it was when Ninja played.
When Ninja was playing Apex, because they paid him millions of dollars to play Apex. Mm-hmm. So that's why Apex beat them. And then when he went back to everyone's like, ooh, Apex is the Fortnite killer. I'm like, no, they just bought Ninja for a month. That's all they did. And that shifts an entire culture right there, because that's regardless of whether you watch Ninja or not. If you are a streamer and you go, oh, well, Apex has, 30,000 more viewers right now than Fortnite, I'm going to boot up Apex. That's a persuasion from small scale to large scale. So for some, because you typically want to.
I would say that would only be motivation if you're already a big streamer. If you're a smaller streamer like us, I would pick whichever one is less popular at the time, so you don't get as buried in the directory.
Right. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm just gonna play whatever the fuck I want to play.
Yeah, that's when I took that hiatus from streaming and I was super frustrated and I came back. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play whatever the fuck I want, and if I grow, I grow. It will grow based on my community and not the game that I'm playing.
Right. Right. So back into Borderlands really quick. So it looks great, plays great. I know the one thing that I read that one of the only things that I read that was perceived as being negative was that we're getting a different voice actor for Claptrap.
Yeah, so Claptrap and a character named Reese, who you meet in Tales of the Borderlands. There was the thing with Reese came out about a month ago with his voice actor, where someone asked if that actor would be reprising his role as Reese because they saw him in the first Borderlands teaser trailer. Like, oh, cool, Reese is going to be back. Is so and so, I don't remember his name, going to be the voice? And Randy Pitchford being Randy Pitchford, they need to stop letting him talk to people. Said, I was told by our sound producer that Reese that so and so did not want to reprise his role as Reese, and that went into Twitter, and people went directly to the source, and he's like, I would totally love to do this, but they told me no.
So, yeah, that didn't really work out too well, huh?
So yeah, I don't
now
know.
Was that just because he was never?
Pitch,
because Tales was a Telltale game, not a Gearbox game.
Right. So I don't. Well, I mean, they worked directly with Gearbox. I mean, certain characters that were in that game. I think Claptrap's in it. I think Zero's in it. There's a couple other, Borderlands major characters that are in it that are the same voices. So I think that they did that. I don't know the politics behind it, and it's a he said she said kind of thing, and
I mean, hell, maybe that's what he was told. I mean,
yeah, maybe that is absolutely what.
Maybe he's not the idiot here, right?
Yeah, and he's not. He specifically said, "I was told by my sound team that he didn't want to do it."
Okay, yeah,
and so I mean, and then that got out as Pitchford said that he didn't want to do it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And then the deal with the Claptrap actor, right, is that he was he was volunteered for the first 3 games.
Well, he wasn't necessarily volunteered. He worked for Gearbox as like their CTO or someone pretty high up, like a VP or something like that. And so for the game, so they didn't have to pay a voice actor, or maybe he just did it for fun. He did 1, 2, and pre-sequel. I guess he left the studio. He left Gearbox in 2017. And when he was approached about doing the voice again, he said, that's cool, but you got to pay me. So I don't know how that got separated into going with this new voice actor. Maybe he works for the studio as well, and he's in some kind of similar capacity where he's just doing it for free or for fun or whatever, and they're not paying
the
him.
Game is basically guaranteed to make them enough money where they can be like, yeah, you've made this character character so iconic, we can give you a little bit of money, especially since they're getting this percentage boost from Epic.
As soon as I saw the gameplay reveal and I heard Claptrap open his mouth, I go, that's not fucking Claptrap. I knew that it wasn't him, and it just came out yesterday.
Is it that different?
It's pretty. Claptrap
like it
is
it
an annoying voice.
Is it as noticeable as Woody being Tom Hanks' brother in Kingdom Hearts 3? Did you play Kingdom Hearts 3?
I didn't. No, I did not play. I watched a bunch of streaming and stuff, but
yeah, because like that really pulled me out of the game playing through like Kingdom Hearts, and it was Tom Hanks' brother doing the voice of Woody, and they don't sound enough.
Oh, interesting.
Alike.
Yeah. And on the older Kingdom Hearts games, Genie was played not by Robin Williams, obviously. Right. It was Dan Castellaneta, the guy that plays Homer Simpson, and he's got a very recognizable voice. I was like, that's got to be him.
Right. They actually, I mean, just to kind of talk voice actors for a bit, Kingdom Hearts 3 faced that with a lot of issues because it came out so long. There were many iconic voices in the Kingdom Hearts series where the actors had passed away before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, like Leonard Nimoy and a couple others that were involved in Kingdom Hearts that couldn't, obviously they're not around anymore. And voice actors are crucial, man. I mean, look what it did with Destiny. Going back to where we had the ghost be
I miss Dinklebot.
Dinklage, and then now, I mean, it's no question at all that Nolan North is a better voice actor.
Well,
But
for me,
Yeah, but for that game, man, like I don't know, I like Dinklage in that role.
I liked Dinklage in that role better because he sounded more like a robot
Yeah, that's true.
than
Deadpool.
Nolan North.
yeah.
Nolan North sounds like a character
He sounds like
versus a
Deadpool.
robot.
Does he voice Deadpool at some point? Is that why you keep referencing that?
Yeah, that's why.
Where's he
Like,
voiced
the
Deadpool?
Deadpool video game and all the animated
Oh,
features
the video game.
feature Deadpool.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever watched anything animated with Deadpool.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not much. There's like Hulk versus Wolverine or some shit.
Right.
But if you ever played the 360 Deadpool game, which only worth one playthrough, but
Is
he
that the
voiced
one where
Deadpool.
like he's super jacked on the cover?
Probably, yeah.
They
Yeah.
released a new Deadpool game
No.
about a year ago, I think.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of then. It was a little more than a year ago. It was around the release of the Deadpool movie. The first
Or
movie.
it may have been a remaster of the 360 game that he's talking about. I don't remember the 360
Yeah.
game at all.
No, I don't know. All I remember is when Deadpool came out, I went and played it in Marvel, whatever the hell it was, the Marvel Diablo game, which has since had the license pulled by Disney and is no longer a thing.
Right.
Which sucks because that was pretty fun. I mean, it was a microtransaction nightmare, but it was fun. But yeah, so we're getting Borderlands in September. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Anyone that knows that I was never a big Borderlands fan. I could never get past the cell shading. But I've kind of put that. It's funny how all these years of saying no, I'm not playing that fucking game. It looks like a cartoon, and then I finally say, you know what? Let's give it a go. Let's give it a legit try. And then right when I get over one Borderlands problem, another Borderlands problem comes.
Yeah.
I haven't played Borderlands since the original, and even that I wasn't a big fan of at the time. So maybe with the new one, I'll give it a new chance.
If you like looter shooters, man, it's the gold standard.
Yeah, and going back, there's a lot of cool features that were in 2 that have been added into the enhanced version of 1.
Well, here's what I'll say about that, right? So as for gaming, my culture, I'm more cultured. My tastes have been more refined over time. So maybe when I played that first game, I wasn't up for what it was, but maybe now.
Right. Yeah, and they've done a lot of stuff. So in Borderlands 1, when you killed an enemy, they dropped the gun that they were using. The RNG on the weapons that were dropped were done when the enemy was spawned. In Borderlands 2, they switched it to
loot tables.
It's loot tables, and when the gun drops, it rolls.
Right.
Borderlands 3, they're going back to the Borderlands 1 style, where if you have an enemy that's shooting you and shredding you, you know that that's a gun that you want. And when you kill that enemy, he drops that gun.
See,
so that's
like I have a love-hate with that. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like if you kill someone, you're going to be able to pick up the gun they're using. Like that makes sense. But does that mean, so what does that mean for, and again, I've never done quote unquote end game in Borderlands, but what is the end game? Is that like a Diablo 2 style where you're farming bosses for certain guns, or is there a wide open loot table like a Diablo 3?
There's different loot tables. So
okay,
certain bosses have certain guns that they can drop, and then there's also the loot pool added to it. There's quote unquote world drops. World drops are only world drops. If there's a weapon that comes from a certain boss only, it's not going to be in the world bosses.
Okay.
So, if you wanted to, in Borderlands 2, if you want to farm a sham, which is a shield, you go and you farm bunker over and over and over and over and over and over again because you want the sham.
Right.
If you want the unkempt herald, you go farm savage lead over and over and over and over again.
Right.
But there's also world drops that they can also drop. And I'm not certain exactly how it works once the game says, hey, we're dropping you a legendary. If it's you get the boss drop and then you also have a chance at a world drop, or if you get a world drop, it consumes that boss drop, so you won't get that also. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I don't really know how they work, but there's people
Right.
out there that do.
Oh, I'm sure there are people who are obsessed with this game.
Yeah. Well, no, one really cool thing that's they've put together is over the past couple years, Gearbox actually partnered with Guardian Con and the people that do that, Professor Broman and King Gathalion and that crew. And every year they do an event called The Hunt. And it's basically a hunt for loot. You have a week, you start a brand new character, you don't use the community patch, which increases drop rates and stuff. And they actually gave you a spreadsheet that says, okay, there's these guns that you're trying to collect. They're worth this many points, and they drop from these locations. These drop from these bosses. These are world drops. These are you can only find these in vendors, stuff like that. So there's spreadsheets out there that say what drops from where, and I'm sure that'll exist again for Borderlands 3. But it was basically a race for loot and how many points you can get, and they officially partnered with Gearbox, and Gearbox gave out swag packs and stuff like that. It's really, really cool what Gearbox is doing in the streaming scene.
Yeah, they seem to be a developer, and again, we'll address the elephant in the room here in a second, because we have to talk about it before this episode's over.
It'll happen.
But outside of that, they seem like, as somebody who, like, I've always been a fan of Take-Two 2K, right? Like that now they own Rockstar, and other than the shambles that Red Dead Online is right now, Red Dead 2 single player was great. GTA 5 is a goddamn powerhouse. Now GTA 5, I don't even know if resurgence is the right word, because it never really became unpopular. But now there's this whole GTA RP thing, which is taking streaming by storm.
Thing is super, super popular.
Yeah, and then add that to the fact that you've got
GTA real life and shit where people take on roles. Yeah, roleplay.
Yeah, it's roleplay.
GTA roleplay.
So I saw a streamer the other day. He was like, I got to go now. I've got an interview to be a cop in GTA 5
See,
RP server.
There's part of me that wants to try that.
Work. What are you doing?
Like there's part of me that it seems like they've merged GTA 5 and The Sims.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
so,
at what point do we get real money to go police the world of GTA?
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I mean, maybe there's
checks in the game.
Maybe there's a
what
touch of.
If I'm like a pilot in GTA and I crash, do I go to pilot jail?
You die.
I'm sure there's certain respawns.
Yeah.
Are there people that go into GTA as like pederasts?
I would imagine there are probably GTA RP servers that are permadeath. Like that must be part of the fun. But anyway, but yeah, so obviously, Rockstar has that, and then 2K has basketball, 2K has the wrestling license. So they're huge.
I miss MLB 2K.
Yeah, but the show, especially now that you're a PS4 owner, like the show is spot on for a baseball game.
Yeah, I wasn't a PS4 owner for so long, so I never really got into the show.
Yeah.
I played 2K. And yeah, I'd like to pick it up at some point. I don't know. I don't really play sports games anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I play it enough. I mean, hell, my pitcher is already on the 2022 season.
Yeah, that's what I saw that earlier.
Right, so I've got well more than my $100 price tag out of the game.
Oh yeah.
And then that pitcher is gonna, like, when MLB The Show 20 comes out next April or March or whatever it is, I'm gonna be able to carry that pitcher forward and continue his career. Like, you don't need to start over every year, which is cool. The only reason I didn't get to do that this year was because I didn't play 18, and you can't skip a year. Like, I could have imported from 18, I couldn't import from 17. Gotcha. But anyway, but yeah, so putting Gearbox in with like Take-Two and 2K and all these big companies, like, they put out quality stuff. And I mean, 2K with their microtransactions with like NBA, like, I know there's some people who have problems with that because you can basically buy your character up. But outside of that, I mean, microtransactions in sports games are just going to exist. I mean, whether you're playing whether you're playing Diamond Dynasty in MLB or if you're playing MUT in Madden.
Ultimate Team.
Yeah, I mean, any of these things where you're buying packs and collecting. I mean, it's a TCG. I mean, you're basically playing Magic,
Yeah,
but with football.
Basically.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so that's going to be a microtransaction nightmare, and either you want to do it or you don't. But yeah, so Gearbox seems like one of those companies where they care about their fans and they care about what they do. They seem to be listening to people very well. This golden key system thing is really cool. I found a website that aggregates all the golden keys that get released everywhere. So I got like 30 or 40 keys on the enhanced edition.
I just follow Borderlands on Twitter, and they're always on there.
Oh, they put them all. No, I told Brandon this. Maybe I was wrong. I was under the impression that they will release different codes in different spots, and people kind of have to track them down.
Yeah, you were saying last night.
As far as I've seen, they release them on all the spots at the same time.
But they're all the same code?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought like there was like I had read that there were some that like sometimes they'll hide one in a YouTube video or
they do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
But the ones that are in, like there was a couple shift codes in the Borderlands 3 teaser trailer. Those were for Borderlands 2 community skins for characters. So they weren't the golden keys. The golden keys they give out like candy.
Right.
Because I mean it's all you're doing is opening a chest and then it's RNG at that point.
Right.
When they do codes in the videos and stuff like that, that's usually to a specific download.
Right.
So what is the elephant in the room? I have to know.
So, well, really, really quick before we get back, because that'll probably be the conversation that ends the episode. Beatmaster in chat said, sports games are odd, releasing new versions each year instead of just DLC with updated rosters. I agree, man. I mean, that's essentially what you're buying. You're buying a slightly updated engine, slightly updated graphics with an updated roster for $60 or whatever. And then the beauty of sports games is unless you're doing something like Madden Ultimate Team, which again, if you're not familiar, it's essentially like Magic the Gathering, but football. Like it's a trading card game. Like you buy packs of cards, you get cards, you can keep them and build your deck, which is your team. And then you can sell or trade them on the marketplace. And then Diamond Dynasty for MLB is the same thing, only again, baseball. But if you don't do any of that stuff, if you just want to get the game to play a franchise or to play multiplayer in general multiplayer or to do a career mode, you can just buy the game for $60. You don't need any of the extra stuff. Right. So, I mean, that's essentially what you're doing is you're just buying a $60 roster update every year, which considering other games, like if you're somebody who's going to, like, I know I'm buying Madden in August. Like, I don't need to see gameplay videos. I don't need to see updates. I don't care who's on the cover. Like, I'm getting Madden in August. I know I am. So, because I'm a Madden player, I love getting it, playing my character through a couple seasons. I like, dumping a few $100 in Madden Ultimate Team and seeing what I can do with that. Like, that's what I do with Madden every year. And like, but so what you're getting. There's no false advertisement. They're not rope-a-doping anyone. They're not advertising one thing and showing you another like Ubisoft was known to do for years. Like you're getting what you're getting and that's it. So if anything, of all the games that get released, sports games are the most complete ones out there, but you just have to like a sports game. Yeah. So that's that. Brandon, the elephant in the room, and I might have chatted with you about this briefly.
Whip it out, big boy. Let's hear it.
If you follow me on Twitter, and especially if you follow Spatula on Twitter, so Borderlands 3 got announced, and there were rumors going around that it was going to be exclusive to Epic on PC. Mm-hmm. And then the day of the announcement, those rumors got confirmed. At which point everybody hit the internet like a fucking shitstorm because we are pissed. Now I use the phrase we lightly, not all of us, but myself.
The royal we.
Yeah, the royal myself included, and a bunch of other people are considering the actual release date for Borderlands 3 to be sometime in April because it is a 6-month exclusivity for Epic. to hold on to it,
On
and then
PC.
Steam will get it in
Right.
April.
So for 6 months, you have to use the Epic launcher to play that game on PC.
Well,
Correct.
and if you want to use Steam after that, you're gonna have to rebuy.
You'd have to rebuy the game again. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy the game for 6 months. I'm not going to buy the game anyway. I'm not that invested in that game. If I play it, I'll play it through you.
Well, I'll be buying it on Xbox for that very reason.
I saw that last night. But regardless, fuck the Steam. Fuck the Epic launcher. I'm not going to fuck with that at all.
Yeah. So now there are some notable things that like Spatula and everybody else has good points. Like Epic is coming in and saying, look, we are going to give the devs more money. Cool. I don't care. They are coming in and like, but that's it. Like, that's the allure, is that the developer is getting a higher percent, which we still don't know what the fuck we're doing with. Because like we talked about earlier with Claptrap, they're not even willing to pay the same voice actor to come and reprise or be for Claptrap again for Borderlands 3. So yes, they're getting more money, but otherwise the Epic launcher is very bare bones compared to Steam. It doesn't have all the features that Steam has. And it's just, people don't like to be forced out of their comfort zone. People have their whole library on Steam. They have their friends list on Steam. They're comfortable with Steam. They're familiar with Steam.
With the library being on Steam, though, I don't launch any of my games from Steam. I've got probably 100 something games on Steam. I don't launch any of them from Steam. I have an icon on my desktop. I double click it. It launches the game, whether it's through Steam or Epic.
Oh, see,
I've got a
I'm the
couple games
polar.
on Epic.
Crazy and old school. I so don't do that at all.
Yeah, like I'm totally opposite. And I don't want to presume that like a lot of people are, but I would
I just
assume a
figured
lot of
they
people
were
are.
though, because I totally like to have that all clear.
Yeah, like I write.
I
My
don't have
desktop is
any-
empty. Like even though I have 4 monitors, there are very few icons on it.
Yeah. no.
Like I right click Steam in the task in the little the system tray down bottom, and then it will give me my last 5 games that I played, and odds are one of those games is the game that I'm going to play.
Yeah,
So
but that's it right there, though. Everything in the tray at the bottom. That's what I like.
now where I don't have an issue is where this becomes a first party thing. I don't have a problem with Ubisoft putting their games on Uplay. I don't have a problem with EA putting their titles on Origin or
not on Steam.
or I mean, is it Active Blizzard, Black Division? Black Division sounds racist. We'll go with Active Blizzard. Although I like Black Division. But yeah, like I don't have a problem with them being on BattleNet, right? But the thing is if I go, because Ubisoft is unique because they only have Ubisoft games on Uplay. But with Origin, there are non-EA games on Origin. Like you can go on there and buy City Skylines, right? But I'm going to buy that on Steam because I want all of my stuff in one place if it can be. But I don't have a problem with the fact that EA took Battlefield games off Steam because they want them on their launcher because they want their money.
City Skylines not part of the premiere?
Probably not because it's not an EA game, or maybe it is, but it's not there with. I think they brought City Skylines in because of how bad SimCity failed. They're like, here, these guys did it better. Play theirs. But I mean, I don't know. And as we talked about a little bit earlier, 2K/Epic/Take-Two, they have the library to warrant their own launcher. Especially
they do at this point.
With
Absolutely.
as big as GTA 5 is right now, with the inevitable GTA 6 probably a few years away, you would assume the inevitable PC release of Red Dead Redemption. Like maybe that's when they'll debut it. Maybe they'll say, hey, Red Dead's coming. I mean, that's what EA did with Premiere. They said, hey, new Madden coming out, but instead of buying Madden, buy a year of Premiere. So maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll debut a new launcher with like Red Dead for PC or whatever. But their PC library is large enough. I mean, WWE 2K is very prevalent on PC. NBA 2K is huge on PC. They've got enough PC games where they can go, look, we're just going to build our own launcher. And then they don't have to worry about anybody's percentages.
With hookers and blackjack.
Yeah, hookers and blackjack.
Yeah, I don't have any fundamental issues with Epic, and when it comes to Borderlands 3, wherever it launched, I was gonna buy it there. If they debuted their own launcher, I'd buy it there. If they would have released it on Steam, I would have bought it on Steam. But they're
the thing
releasing it on Epic.
Here's the thing that sucks. I want all of my stuff in one spot. And I don't mean all my games, right? I mean, I went back and rebought a couple different Assassin's Creed games on Uplay, so all of my Assassin's Creed games were on Uplay. Like, I have Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and I think Brotherhood on Steam. But I went and rebought them on Uplay. That way, all of my Assassin's Creed is in one spot. And, like, all of my Mass Effect is in one spot on Origin. So I'm cool with it, but I know for a fact, and I know because I looked last night, you can't get Borderlands 1, 2, or pre-sequel on the Epic Store. So
you can't.
There's no way for me to have my on PC. There's no way for me to have my entire Borderlands library in one spot. And that, even if I was willing to go Epic Store and willing to buy it on the Epic Store, if I want to go back and play the other ones, I have to launch Steam. So even if I was willing to rebuy them, I can't buy them on the Epic Store. So they've forced me to split my library or wait until April.
Yeah, I see that. Like I said, I keep them all on my desktop. So Borderlands 2, and
we get it. You live in 1995. We know. And Beatmaster brought up, and we mentioned, or I mentioned it to you in Twitter. Epic just bought the Rocket League developer. So how long until that becomes Epic exclusive?
They said they do intend to pull it off of Steam eventually, but they're not going to pull Steam support. So if you already own it on Steam, you're still going to have all the same support,
which is cool, right? Until you get to buying DLC. So if I have it on Steam with all the current DLC, and then they pull the purchasing off Steam, I'm launching it from Steam because that's where I owned it. Right. So now it's on the Epic Store where there's no cross buying. Like, it's part of Game Pass on Xbox, but if I go play it on Xbox, I start at level 1. There's no cross account. There's no cross purchases. Like, everything I bought on PC is not relevant to Xbox. So do I then have to rebuy the game on the Epic Store and rebuy all the DLC to keep up with DLC, or am I instantly do I instantly have a stop point on Steam where I can no longer buy new? Like, do you see where this can become convoluted down the road? Like, make Rocket League 2. Leave Rocket League on Steam, buy Psyonix like they did, and just make Rocket League 2. And then
maybe that's what they'll end up doing,
and make that Epic DLC exclusive. Yeah, because again, once you start splitting things up, it just gets a little, I mean, it's no different than if they released a Battlefield Bad Company 3, right? Which I know Brandon's a big fan of. Bad Company 1 and 2. If they released 3 and it's Origin exclusive, which is totally okay, it's an EA game, but now I own Bad Company 1 and 2 on Steam, so again, my library's split. So, and again, I know that at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything to whatever. Like, it's pointless. Like you said, it's an icon or it's one extra. I mean, I think every single game launcher app that I have on my computer auto launches anyway when my computer starts up.
I turn auto launch off.
So, I mean, those M.2 drives, man, like, before I hit my PIN number to open my computer, everything's open.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, it's just, I mean, and I'm not going to deny it's arguing for the sake of arguing, right? Like, it doesn't really affect me. Like, yes, Tencent can be shady, and yes, the Epic launcher has a few little features, but you know what? Diablo Immortal's being made by Tencent, and I'm going to play that the day it fucking comes out.
Play the fuck out of that.
So, and it's not like I don't have the Epic launcher installed on my computer.
You've got a phone, don't you?
Huh? Yeah, and I have a phone. Really, when the issue came out for me, it was when Epic came out and said, "Look, we will release exclusivity as long as you drop your percentage." So that's I get it, and I get why you think that that's an okay move, and that's fine. I think that that's pretty shitty because they're holding it hostage.
Well, yes and no, but at the end of the day, the developer has the choice on where to release their game. And so Epic saying, hey, you can put it on our launcher, but it's going to be exclusive, but you're also going to get a bigger cut. And the developer goes through, they go through their board members and they go through all their decisions. And at the end of the day, whether exclusive or not, they feel like the Epic launcher is better for them. Psyonix even said when they decided to sell to Epic, they said going to Epic, they are going to have a much more hands-on approach to the development of the game and our esports and all of this stuff. And we feel for us, it's better for our team to develop more content and more games to be with Epic.
See, now behind the scenes, if Epic is getting involved in that way, and it's not just more money, but it's giving the developers more control of their content.
Yeah,
that's a different argument, and that's an argument I can get behind.
Well, yeah, and at that point, they're first party because they own Psyonix. They don't.
Right. But even as far as Borderlands, like Borderlands runs off the Unreal Engine, so it's not like Epic, but that's also where like Epic has gotten a little big brother with that in the past. So is there that to kind of worry about? Like there are indie developers who have made games using the Unreal Engine where the game was developed and Epic has come out and said, look, I mean, we're not going to stop you from using our engine, but you can't put any of our branding on that. And then they've also come out and said, no, you're not using our engine for that. So, which again, it's within their right. And I'm not one of those people that misunderstands free speech. Like there is no free speech in the private sector. Right? Like it's their engine. They can choose what gets made with it. But, I mean, a big indie title that came out a few years ago, which is kind of, blown away now, but that was that Hatred game, which was that mass murder simulator. We did a Geek Access podcast episode on it back in, I want to say like 2016, but because it released with huge controversy.
Of course. And
Twitch banned it. Like 2 days before the game released, Twitch came out and said, you're not streaming that on our platform. And then Epic said, nope, you can't put Epic or Unreal. Like you made your game, you used our engine fine, but we don't want to be associated with it at all.
Right.
So I mean, it's a little concerning that they want to get a little too controlling in that way. Like if it's not sending the message that they necessarily want to send, how... Because Borderlands, I mean, it's not a mass murder simulator, but Borderlands does push boundaries. Like
absolutely,
it's pretty brutal. Like I was laughing my ass off playing it because again, I've never played through them. So when you first meet the dude that runs the motor shop in Borderlands 1,
Scooter,
yeah, and he's like, man, that thing's beat to shit, like my mama's lady parts. He's like, why don't you go over there and give it a poke? Not my mama. Like
the writers behind the writers at Gearbox
it's great.
Are awesome.
It reminds me of old school Blizzard because old school Blizzard was great at tying in pop culture and making things funny but relevant to the story.
That's one reason I really hated that Battleborn didn't get more traction because it launched alongside Overwatch. Battleborn is a great game and it's a lot of the same writers. I've heard some of the same voices. It's got the same sense of humor. But because it launched onside Overwatch, it got buried and it never had a chance. But it's a great game. You're muted.
Sorry, I thought I hit the button. Yeah, I missed the chat a little bit. So Beatmaster's comment wasn't legally binding. Oh, but he must have talking about the voice actor thing, maybe. I don't know. Beatmaster, might as well go back to that. Will they turn off cross-platform play down the road? I don't think so.
Rocket League.
I think the only issue with cross-platform right now is it Sony that's not playing well? Or is there cross-platform play on PlayStation?
It's everything I've ever heard about any news regarding crossplay. It's Sony not playing ball.
Right, yeah, because Sony's they're being because for once they have
Xbox and Switch.
Right, I think
totally
PlayStation
on Sony, man. It's all Sony all the time.
Yeah, it's because they finally have one generation of console where they're in the lead and they're swinging their dicks around like assholes, but they're gonna lose it again next generation. So because Microsoft learned from their mistakes. And they're going to come out hitting hard.
Sony's only thing right now is first party games.
It's exclusives. But the thing is, okay, right? So obviously Oh, hold on. Let me really quick. Epic could force non-cosmetic DLC microtransaction upon the dev. I don't think they're going to. That's one thing where I'll give Epic a praise. Everything in Fortnite is all cosmetic, and if they are promoting this to say, look, we are going to give you a bigger cut, to look at it in a glass half full kind of way, I would presume that a part of that bigger cut means that you can provide more content without nickel and diming people.
Right. And that's
Borderlands has never been, I mean, they have DLC, but they've never really been one to like there are no microtransactions in Borderlands. Right?
See, and that's the big debate right now is at the Borderlands 3 reveal, Randy Pitchford came on stage and he goes, and we're presenting all of this free from microtransactions. We're going to do it just like we did Borderlands 1, just like we did Borderlands 2, with no microtransactions. And then who was it? Game Informer came out and they're like, so he said that there's not going to be microtransactions, but there's totally skin packs, which are microtransactions. And so you
see, I don't consider those to be microtransactions.
I don't either. I consider them to be like mini DLCs.
Yeah, once you're over like $5, you're not a microtransaction. That's not micro anymore.
And a lot of their skin packs are $1 and $2.
Hold on. I just want to say I love that Brad has turned his camera off and he is the random like one word input every 30 seconds.
And it just pops up on the screen with his.
I see the black thing pausing. It's like I'm Brandon. I'm not giving you shit. I love that. That's like the dynamic that's happening right now. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
it's totally on purpose.
I think we need to, as a gamer culture, when people start talking about microtransactions, we need to redefine it. If it's a loot box, which you don't get to pick exactly the item that you want to buy, I think that should be considered a microtransaction. If I have to buy your in-game currency, if I have to spend $5 to buy in-game currency for a $1 item, and now I have $4 of dead money sitting there, that should be considered a microtransaction. Borderlands has always released theirs as it was the Necromancer Assault Pack, which is a head and a skin, and you buy it from the Steam store as a DLC. It shows up as DLC, and I don't see that as a microtransaction.
The other thing that I would add to that is a microtransaction is something that you have to buy over and over again, like a loot box or like anything like that.
Right.
Regardless of whether it's a 99-cent. I mean, again, yes, they are defined a specific way, whatever.
By definition, it is a micro
right.
It is a small transaction.
Right. But not by the way gamers define them. Like if I want to buy a weapon skin for a gun in Call of Duty, right? Which I haven't played Black Ops 4 much lately, but they've got some pretty epic skins in Black Ops 4. Like the DLC / whatever you want to call it for Black Ops 4 has been incredible. So if I want to buy a skin, that's a one-time purchase. Yes, by definition, it's a microtransaction, but they're not nickel and diming me because I can go and I can look at their library of skins and go, ooh, I want a light blue gun with purple frosted donuts, which is a thing, right? And if I want that skin, they totally Fortnited Black Ops 4. If I want that skin, I can go buy it for 99 cents or $1.99 or whatever the case may be. Now, some of these companies have removed loot boxes, or they have the loot boxes still, but you can also buy what's in the loot box if you just want one item. But then players are complaining that you got to pay $5 for a weapon skin. And it's like, well, right, but that's the price
but you're not subject to the RNG.
Right, that's the price you pay for being able to pick what you want, as opposed to and no, it's not fucking gambling, loot boxes.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't think that these skin packs in Borderlands should be considered.
No, see, Beat, I disagree, man. Beat says loot boxes are its own terrible thing. I don't think so. I don't think they're their own thing. I don't think they're terrible. I like loot boxes because to me,
I don't
loot
like
boxes.
the idea of loot boxes if you don't also get the option to buy what you want directly.
Well, even I mean that can be talked about for sure, but I have a little bit more disdain towards loot boxes that will give you an item that gives you an advantage in the game. Right? Depending on the advantage. And it's what people I mean, now what you consider an advantage. Like, I don't think Battlefront 2 was pay to win because everything in that game was cosmetic. Now, yes, Darth Vader and other characters were locked in loot boxes, but it's not like Darth Vader as a hero character was more powerful than Kylo Ren, right? So at that point, he was purely cosmetic. You wanted to have his iconic lightsaber. You wanted to have his look and his voice lines. But playstyle wise, he was no more powerful than Kylo Ren. So there was no advantage to having him. It was purely cosmetic. It was purely player preference. I don't see a problem with him being locked behind a loot box. So, but regardless, to me, loot boxes bring back that fun of buying magic cards back in the day. When you open a pack, and like if I open a pack of like Icelands and I and I go, ooh, did I get a Goblin King? Right? Or way back in the day and like opening and wanting to get like one of the Moxes out of like beta, or like that's loot boxes for me. Is it's opening packs of cards and wanting the shiny card.
A lot of people always try to say that loot boxes are like magic cards. The disagreement I have with that is if I buy a pack of 15 magic cards for $3 and I open it and I get a mythic that I can then turn around and sell that, for $80.
So let's have a company that does loot boxes, like very similar to Counter-Strike, right? Because Counter-Strike does it, but I don't really play CSGO. But you use real money for that, and people can make real money off that, I believe.
Yeah, you can do that with PUBG too.
Can you? Okay, yeah. But make it so, okay, very similar to actually what I want to see them do with digital games. Go, okay, I bought $100 worth of loot boxes. I've got skins, like no different than Apex. Like when Apex dropped, I think I dumped like $250 on loot boxes.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I told you, man, I like loot boxes. And I got a bunch of skins for a bunch of characters I play and for a bunch of guns. But then I got like a legendary skin for Bangalore. I'm never going to fucking use Bangalore.
It'd be nice to be able to sell it.
So let me, or even trade it. Like going back to like Madden Ultimate Team, like give me an auction house or a trading block where I can go, hey, here's a legendary Bangalore skin. Who's got a legendary Lifeline skin that they want to let go? Right. And then don't remove the doubles because they're never worth it. Like if I got a double of that Bangalore skin, the amount of in-game credits they give me for loot boxes does not equal a legendary item.
Not at all.
So let me keep my doubles and let me put them up on the trade block.
Yeah, that's the one thing, like as much as I don't play PUBG and I didn't really love PUBG, when you have cosmetics in the game, that's one advantage I can say to Steam over Epic is they've got their
trading card store
system.
Yeah.
And you can go in there and you can actually sell those skins directly to other people. You put them out. It says this is what the average is that these are selling for, and you can either put it up at the average and hope it sells.
Right.
I always do it a couple cents below whatever the average is. And I sold the trading. I don't even understand the trading.
No, I don't think you're allowed to cash that money out, right? It's got to go back into Steam.
It's Steam credit.
Yeah, but it's still I mean, if you sell enough, you can buy a brand new game.
I did that. I sold a bunch of the trading cards that you get for achievements and stuff, and I ended up buying a brand new game because of it.
Right. Yeah. So when you're able to give back to the player, not too different from what Blizzard tried to do with the Diablo 3 auction house, but that was just a shitstorm. But that same idea, but not something that ruins the integrity of the game. Then I think that when we can kind of, the problem is that developers and gamers, the argument is it's very much like anything that it's conservative liberal, it's religious person atheist, it's it's any of these major arguments, neither side is willing to budge. You know what I mean? Like, if you came out to a lot of the gamers and said, look, microtransactions, or loot boxes, but the items you get are yours and you can sell or trade them to other players, a vast majority of the player base would still go, nope, loot boxes. Like, there's no one's willing to budge.
And developers aren't going to switch to that, because if I sell you a skin, you pay me, not the developer. And
right, which is another issue I have a problem with, and that goes into like that's why I don't buy used games, because the money goes to GameStop and not the developer, and fuck GameStop. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more time you have. I have no problem continuing to go, but that was the thing I was going to talk about with the trade back system. Is we're obviously getting to a session of games now, or a generation now, where I think we're going to slowly start phasing out physical games. We've already done that on PC. I think we're getting that way with console.
Well, they're doing it with console. Xbox is releasing their discless.
Right. Yeah, but that, I mean, I don't know, if social media can be taken seriously at any point in time, like, that's kind of a joke. Like, people are laughing at that. But we're getting
it's a
there.
joke because they only reduced the price by like $50.
Well, yeah, that's about the price of a disc drive. So
not a 4K Blu-ray disc drive.
That's fair.
I
was pretty bummed. I was pretty bummed.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was pretty bummed when Sony came out and said, yes, the PS5 is going to have a disc drive. Fucking why? We don't need it. Like, it's not necessary anymore. Yes, people don't like to buy digital because they want to be able to trade in that single player game, which again, Sony, we talked about their exclusives. The biggest thing with Sony to Xbox is Xbox has the more powerful console. Sony has the better games when it comes purely exclusives, right? But all of Sony's exclusives are one-time playthroughs. So I dumped $60 on God of War, loved every minute of it, haven't touched it in a year.
I bought it on sale when I bought my PS4 Pro, and I haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game. It's worth a playthrough. But I was talking to somebody else about this, where let me trade in my digital games. But here's the beauty of it. I'm not trading it to a player. Like, don't let people start trading digital games. That's a shitstorm. Like, as it is, there are plenty of us, myself included, who abuse Microsoft's like family share thing. Where like me and Brandon have our game share. So like any game I buy, he has, right? So like, and that's not what that's meant for, but they know people do it. It's kind of like Netflix password sharing.
Which a lot of companies are starting to crack down on.
They are, which is good because Netflix isn't expensive. So pay the $15 fucking. But yeah, so let me trade in my digital game back to the Sony marketplace. Right, if I buy The Last of Us 2 on digital for $60 or $100 with the season pass, right, then let me play that game and enjoy it and trade it in. Now, that trade-in value should be based. That trade-in value should be based on two things. One, the age of the game. If it's 5 years old, it's going to trade in for less than if I bought it yesterday and it was brand new. And also how many hours you've put into the game. And the reason that I say that is because it's a digital item. You aren't, the quality of the game isn't changing. You're not getting a scratched disc. Physical media has a lifespan. Like, those discs will degrade. So you aren't getting you aren't lessening the lifespan of the item. You're just giving back a code. So how old the game is plus how many hours you've put into it, Sony averages out a trade-in value for that title, which is probably going to be better than what fucking GameStop gives you. And then they turn around and they resell that. Now, here's where the developer makes money. They don't have to resell that as used because there's nothing used about it. It's a code.
It's digital.
Right, it's a code. So now they can sell a copy of the game and make their $60 on the copy, which means they aren't losing money off a used sale, and you get credit in the PlayStation Store to put towards another game. So the developers keep getting their money, Sony keeps getting their money, players get to trade in games and get their credit, but you aren't you aren't giving games to other people. You aren't selling. People aren't able to buy into a game at a cheaper price unless the game is older. And ultimately, the most important thing, again, go back to the Epic argument of give them a bigger percent. The most important thing, developers aren't losing money on used game sales.
I just don't know how that would work logistically on what motivation Sony has to give you money because you don't want to play that game anymore because you don't own a physical copy. Because like you said,
because that would
it's not a good. It's a digital thing. They're not, it doesn't cost them any more money to put out another key for somebody else.
Well, no, it doesn't, but that might,
other than the bandwidth that it takes to download it.
No, I know. But if you were to do that in unison with removing physical media, the amount of money that they would get back from all that money they lose from GameStop, I would think would be their motivation, because you aren't going to move us into, I mean, I've got games, I've still got the Order 1776 on my fucking PS4, which was the biggest pile of shit. I mean, people are giving Days Gone crap, right? No, the biggest pile of shit PlayStation exclusive was the Order 1776. It was a piece of garbage, but it's still there because I bought into the hype and I paid $60 for it, and you know, whatever. But and if I was able to trade it in, I would expect it to trade in for like $3, right? So it's but you aren't going to get people, if they truly want to move to a digital only platform. The best way to get people to buy into that is, look, we're going digital only, but you can trade in your digital games. And fine, be a little shady about it. Make it that you can only trade in games that you've bought after the digital trade-in goes live. Like, you can't trade your whole library in once it goes live.
Right.
You know, so have some caveats there, but
yeah, because that's one of the biggest things that's keeping physical media alive is the ability to buy and sell at GameStop or wherever is doing it at the time. Because there's a lot of places that do that now. But back to your point, you were saying, you're muted again. You were saying, you know, let them trade in the key and then Sony can go back and sell it full price. At that point, they're not capturing that audience that goes and buys their games used at GameStop for a cheaper price. They would have to sell it at a reduced price if they want that part of the market. Because if they're still selling it full price and they're not getting those people that are buying them used, they have zero motivation to give you money for your game.
But don't you think that with the money that they would recuperate from used game sales, that these titles would be able to go on sale faster? And also look at the sales. Like, when I first got Brandon into PC gaming, Brandon, what was that, like 3 or 4 years ago now? 2 or 3 years ago?
2016.
Okay, so yeah, about 3 years ago. One of the big appeals to PC gaming is how frequently Origin has sales, how frequently EA or Ubisoft and Steam have sales. But the consoles are getting into that now, and they're doing that more often now. Like, again, when I bought Borderlands, I had just bought, I got the Handsome Collection and Borderlands 1 Enhanced, and I paid $20. Now, the Handsome Collection was still $60, but they were running a promotional sale for Xbox Gold members where it was like $15. So that's an incredible sale. I can't go to GameStop and buy the Handsome Collection for $15. And that's not used. That's new. I might be able to buy a used copy, but that's not a new, but that's, you know, the developer's not getting any money from that. So they either I give GameStop $15 or $20 and the developers get no money, or they put it on sale. And
the Handsome Collection is $15 at GameStop.
New or used?
New.
I wonder if it's a Gearbox sale.
But that's a physical media. If you want it digitally, it's $20, of course.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, GameStop marks up their digital because they want you to buy physical because they want to trade in. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Beatmaster seems to be very anti-corporate. You can
What's
switch
that?
countries with, well, yeah, he says you can switch countries with physical media. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but I mean, you're not wrong, but I think there's a small percentage of the community that affects. Um, Publishers or stores can delete games from their libraries on their own terms without repercussions. Amazon deleted 2 books I bought. I mean,
Yeah,
they
we
can,
don't
but it's
digital content
their
we don't own.
no, but it's their property. Like they're within their right to do that. Like I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like if you bought a physical version of, you know, Battlefield 5 and they no longer support Battlefield 5 and take down all the servers, you have a coaster.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to be able to connect to play it online. So they
Right.
still have their power to do that. He said they're triple dipping with super duper ultra mega editions. Get X character exclusive to Target, Best Buy, GameStop. So they did that for a while. They're still doing it a little bit. Now they seem to be doing it more with the physical collections. Like nothing in game is exclusive to a store. It seems like sometimes there'll be like a statue that might be exclusive or like something like that. But or if there
timed releases.
if there is an in-game skin, like let's say there's 4 in-game skins, right, and you have them exclusive to Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and GameStop, then either if you buy it from the digital store, like if that's a Sony game, for example, if I buy it from the PSN store, usually you just get all 4 of those skins. They just don't tell you that. Like the exclusivity is for physical copies. Or the other catch is you can buy those skins for like $1.99 each, right? Like the big Mortal Kombat 11 pre-order bonus was you get Shao Kahn for free, or you get Shao Kahn as a pre-order bonus. They didn't say for free. They said he was a pre-order bonus, implying that you would only get him if you pre-ordered, or you can buy it the day it comes out and then go onto the store and buy him for $3.99. Like it's not like he's gone forever. Pre-order bonuses eventually come back, even with the wrestling games. Like what was the big one? Like you get Stone Cold as a pre-order bonus, which was the biggest bullshit in the world because it's fucking Stone Cold. Everybody wants Stone Cold. But then they released him on the store like a month later for like $5. So it's not like it was that big of a deal.
There's that whole thing around when Division 2 released and they did
Hey,
one of the
Corey
pre-order
is there.
bonuses was more stash space.
Corey says he is playing City of Heroes as he watches this.
Yeah, so City of Heroes, I want to say they just released they released all of their characters and there's they put out some public servers. I think they're like fan moderated servers.
So
And
they're like
and
developer approved private servers.
Back into that. I saw Corey's post about him playing that and watching us.
I saw a little bit about that, and I guess that they also released your save games as well, so you could pick up your old files and play them on those servers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, that was a great game.
I saw something else about them possibly
while I'm playing City of Heroes. Can I download like an MP3 playlist on Napster to listen to while I'm playing City of Heroes?
Right.
Dude, that's exactly how it was when we were teenagers at your house.
Right, and then I'll have to jump from like
I would make fucking CDs.
I'll have to jump from City of Heroes to like old school like StarCraft Brood War and then go play some Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh yeah, I had one of those CD burners that you could burn images into the bottom of your CD.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep. Dude, I thought that was so it's amazing how that technology like CD burning, like it added so many new features over the course of like 4 or 5 years, and then out of nowhere just nobody needs it anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, like CDs might as well be 8 tracks at this point. Like nobody gives a fuck unless you're a DJ, which I assume even like radio station DJs, like it's all digital now. Unless like you're like on an oldies channel and like the old man that screams at clouds thinks that records sound better. Because I don't give a fuck what you say. Yes, MP3s are compressed, and yes, FLAC sounds better, but they both sound better than records. But that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's one I don't really care about.
No,
I'm not.
I will listen to my compressed MP3s on my Bluetooth headphones. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get ready to wrap it up. We've been going for about an hour and a half now. It's been a pretty solid, fun conversation. Spatula, thank you for coming on, man. This was a blast.
Absolutely.
I can't believe it's taken this long to get you on. Glad
all all 4 weeks, all 4 episodes.
I'm glad. Well, I mean, like, well, yeah, yeah, because we were kind of. It's been that long, but I'm glad we didn't argue about Epic the whole time, considering that's what Twitter has been for the past month.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to give yourself a shout out and let everyone know where they can find you and what you're doing?
Facebook, Twitch, Mixer, Twitter, just about anywhere social, / Friendly Spatula.
Instagram.
Not Instagram. I don't know. I never got behind Instagram.
That's the only one I use, man.
It's I know, and I know as building a brand, Instagram seems to be the way you have to go these days.
Yeah, it's great for that.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just one
especially
more
if
thing
especially if you have boobs.
Yeah,
I have boobs.
So do I. Instagram is great for boobs. But yeah, check out Spatula. Spatula's a cool dude. He's kind of part of the WNS group. Like, he runs with me on games that we both play, and we kind of rep it. But
it seems like he's part of it, because anytime I hear you playing, you're playing with him.
Well, I mean, more of like the streamer thing. I know Corey, not Temerity Corey, but Audio King Corey is getting back into streaming too. So we might actually, if we try and re-push the WNS thing again, we might have a few other streamers under the belt. Right. So that would be cool. But yeah,
we won't be playing Borderlands together.
Nope, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll give in. But I have a bunch of friends on Xbox that will be playing it too. So either way, if I decide to play it on PC, it's a $200 purchase because it's on both platforms. But it wouldn't be the first time I've done it, so we'll see.
Borderlands 1 and 2, I have collectively bought probably 6 or 7 times.
I spent
the 360, the Xbox One, PC, trading in my 360 copy, and then buying it again because I loved it so much. Like,
I'm so happy I haven't traded in consoles this generation. Like, I definitely traded in an Xbox
really
One.
well with that, considering past days and how many times.
Because the games have been worthwhile, right? You know what it is now is it's digital. It's the digital games. It's the fact that, I mean, and like another conversation from the time is like the thing about digital games for me is that I've finished single player games that in the past I wouldn't have finished because I would have traded them in for something else.
Yep. Well, look at you with, I mean, the last few big releases and how much time you've put into them.
Right.
That never would have happened before.
No, there are plenty. I mean, even Sunset Overdrive, I got with my Xbox One and never touched it, but it was a digital game. And then I was sitting there one day and had nothing to play. And I'm like, I'm going to try out Sunset Overdrive. And I ended up loving it. It's an amazing open world game that I never would have played if it wasn't for the fact that I owned it digitally and couldn't get rid of it.
I think streaming plays a big role there too for you.
Yeah, I definitely dive into single player titles more streaming because I still feel like I have that socialization. Whereas
I don't think that Days Gone would have got as much action if not for streaming.
No. If I definitely get that, like, lost in my own little world. I need a multiplayer game if I'm not streaming. And that's one thing that's the big thing that streaming does for me is it lets me be social while also enjoying a single player experience.
Whatever lets you run your mouth.
Yeah, I like running my mouth. I mean, it's what I do. But yeah, again, check out him, or as in Spatula, anywhere. It's any of the streaming platforms / Friendly Spatula. Give him a follow. Listen, what's that one you're playing right now? That pixel game you're playing right now?
Forager is awesome. It's like $15 on Humble. Humble produced it. It's from, I think, a one-man studio named Top. His name is Top Frog on Twitter. It's like Stardew Valley, except you don't have to sleep. You just get to keep playing.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, that's one thing I hated about Stardew Valley. I hate the day-night cycle and having to go to sleep and all that stuff. Have energy. There's energy in Forager, but you just eat food and get it back.
See, that's how Graveyard Keeper is, because I don't know if you've played Graveyard Keeper.
I saw you play it for a little bit. I've always been interested in it, but it's one of those that I never.
It's a morbid Stardew Valley, but they remove the sleeping. Like, again, there's energy, but you can like make energy tonics or like consume corpses, to get back energy. And who doesn't want to consume a corpse to regain energy?
Yeah, Forager's a simple little, build build more resources to get more resources, and then I'm probably 12 hours into it. I've got probably another couple hours before there's nothing left to do.
Right.
But it was $15, and I paid and I'm gonna get 15-ish, maybe 20 hours out of it.
Yeah, it's not a bad trade-off at all.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. And you all know where you can find Brandon. You can find Brandon here.
Kind
Because
of.
it's about what he does. And you can follow all my stuff. Similar to Spatula, wherever you want to go, whatever streaming platform you like, similar to this show. Just do the Cynic X at the end, and you can watch all of my streaming content. Currently, it's Borderlands 1 Game of the Year Enhanced on Xbox One X. It's really pretty in 4K HDR.
Yeah.
Probably gonna try and play through the whole thing along with Tales from the Borderlands, just to get fully caught up on the story. I'm really glad that I've gotten over my hump of now that what I've noticed is once you start playing it, you don't really notice that it's cartoony. Like, it just looks cool. And
Yeah, I feel Borderlands is that series that I feel they couldn't have done what they do in a quote unquote realistic art format.
Now, and that's what I always said. I'm like, make it look like a modern game, make it look like a grown-up game. Like, I don't want a Saturday morning cartoon. But now that I'm playing it and I'm experiencing it, especially now that I'm meeting the characters, it wouldn't work in
translate.
Yeah, it wouldn't have the same allure that it has with that comic book feel. And I think that's where that connection for me needed to be made. I was connecting it too much with like a cartoon, and I wasn't connecting it enough with a comic book. And it is much like an interactive comic book.
Yeah, I'm glad you're finally getting Borderlands. It's my favorite game series of all time.
Yeah, it's I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. I like the humor, I like the writing.
The humor and writing is the biggest draw to it. Especially, I mean, the loot is awesome.
Right.
But the writers behind it they're brilliant.
Right. Yeah, no, and I'm hoping to see more of that in 3, and it's I'm sure 3 is going to just take the gaming world by storm. So we will see what happens there. But anyway, that will do it for tonight's episode. So Brad, thank you again for coming on. Brandon, as always, I'm glad that we've made this 4 weeks in a row now. We'll keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, I can't wait for 5.
I know, right?
Are we gonna have a Spatula and a Corey?
I know, right? I don't know. So we have a bunch of past guests that I've talked to that want to come back on, but everyone's just been kind of busy. Like, we've got 9ball who really wants to come back on,
cool.
but he works at a movie theater and they're really fucking busy right now. And
it's been so long. The last time we talked to him, that was all in the works at the time.
And then like today is Star Wars Day, so a lot of the movie theaters are having Star Wars events. Oh yeah, by the way, happy Star Wars Day, everybody! May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt.
I have my Star Wars tattoo. I'm good. I have my Imperial Army tattoo. But yeah, so Star Wars Day, so a lot of movie theaters are doing big things. But yeah, and Dave Ginsburg said that he was more than happy to come back on. Derek formerly from the Sometimes Geek podcast said he'd come back on. So yeah, so a bunch of past guests. And then obviously we have, regular going to the well of all of our regulars, and I'm sure Spatula would come back on again at some point too.
Yeah,
put you on the spot, right?
A couple weeks. We talked about Borderlands 3 today, so
you're tapped out.
That's kind of his thing. We have to get more Borderlands news to have Spatula come on again.
Yeah, I could do a whole episode about Borderlands. We could have filled up this whole hour and a half with just.
We probably could fill up another hour and a half continuing with more Borderlands news.
Yeah, no, my wife would be pissed.
And as always, a big thank you to the live chat room. You guys kick ass. Oh shit, yeah. I mean, how can we talk about Star Wars Day really quick? Rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. We lost him this week.
Yep.
That was actually, we lost him last week, but it got announced this week.
Yeah.
April 30th? I think he passed away.
Me and my wife have a buddy that's in the 501st Legion, and he's got a ton. He lives in the Dallas area.
Yeah.
And he's got a ton of pictures and stuff with him. And any time a new Star Wars movie came out, he did viewings at his house and stuff. So he was real close with him.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, no, it's we lost Leia, and now we've lost
Mm-hmm.
Chewy, and yeah, so that's a big hit, and he was definitely up there in age, and I think he had a lot of health issues too. So, but
He
yeah,
had a lot of health issues for sure. He wasn't that old though.
I thought he was in his 70s.
He was like 74, but that's,
That's
the new
fucking
60,
old.
man. Come on.
It's the new 60.
Yeah, but if you're bigger in any way, whether it's taller or wider,
He was super tall, obviously Chewbacca, but he had a lot of knee problems. He smoked
Right.
his whole
Right. Oh, Annalise says, hello, Annalise. Didn't realize you were there. She said that he was supposed to do signings at the Dallas Fan Expo. So when he had passed away, they just turned his table into a memorial.
Wow.
So he had actual gigantism. So he did have
in my pants. Hey, are you gonna end this show?
Yeah, we'll end it. That's what Andre the Giant had, wasn't it? Gigantism?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. Anyway.
And alcoholism.
And alcoholism.
Yeah, that too. 56 beers, it's fine.
So yeah, as always, big thank you to the Twitch chat. You guys kick ass. We will be back next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you are listening to this in podcast form and you want to watch it live, any of your streaming platforms of choice / Ain't Geek Studios, just search Ain't Geek Studios and it'll come up. It'll be there. 9 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday nights. Our other shows that we are bringing back are still in the works, so keep your ear to the ground for those. And that will do it. So, for Spatula, for Brandon, for myself, and for the rest of Inked Geek Studios, thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you guys next week. You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.
Gnome dick works fine for me.
What was that?
That was the one when Gnome was on, and you said Gnome dick works fine for me.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. I'm such a funny guy.
You are indeed.
Yeah. So, can we block certain people from the feed?
Feed's still alive.
Yeah. So, can we?
I can block users on Twitch or Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Do you want me to give you admin rights so you can do that?
Yeah.
Who are you trying to block?
It's a long story. We will go over it when we're off air.
Okay.
Although I'm pretty sure if the person's still there, they know who we're talking about. Annalisa, don't say that. Annalisa says, I'm sorry, I'll leave. Come on.
Head held in shame. Oh.
Corey was quiet tonight. Corey was playing.
Corey's all up in that City of Heroes, man.
Yeah. Spatula, yeah, usually
he's literally, it's like this.
Yeah,
So
Spatula, usually we hang out and chat with Twitch for a little while, but if you have to go to hang out with the wife,
I gotta go. I gotta get the kid to bed and all that jazz.
Yeah, go do your thing, man. Thanks for taking the time.
I haven't even had dinner yet.
Go eat. Oh yeah, you're like 2 hours. Well, it's only, what is it, like 5 in the afternoon for you, right?
It's 10 p.m.
Fuck, is it that late?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's late.
Jesus Christ.
You doubled the showtime.
Go eat dinner. It was a good conversation.
Yep. No, it was good. We'll do it again sometime.
At some point in the future. All right, man. Have a good night. I'll stop in the stream later if I'm still awake.
Later, guys.
See you.
Number 2. Yeah. So you're gonna be up for a while, or are you working tomorrow? You're actually gonna work tomorrow? What are you doing?
I am working tomorrow. I'm going in a little late because I ran late today because Robert was supposed to come up with the kids because of the overlap of her schedule and my schedule. And then Robert never showed up, so I wound up being late. So I'm going in like an hour late tomorrow, pre-scheduled, so I don't get in shit for it. But so yeah, after we kill the stream here, I'm probably gonna go play some more Borderlands for a little bit.
Yep, nice.
But
I don't know. I should fire that all up and try it out, I guess. Maybe I will.
Right.
Then I gotta fucking dig the TV out and hook all that bullshit up.
Just plug it into one of your monitors. But then you don't get the 4K. I mean, you do have the 1X.
I've only got one monitor set up at mom's. I'm not gonna fucking go through all of that.
Yeah, I assume you don't have the 4K TV on the wall anymore. Or was it on the bureau or on the wall?
I just don't have it. It's packed up. I don't have it in the storage unit. I have it in the house. Why the fuck would
Just
I put it there?
come prop it up here next to my 50-inch 4K, and we'll just sit here and play side by side.
We'll just touch tips and play Borderlands. It'd be great.
I mean, there's probably more room in this room for you to set up than there is at your mom's.
On that, there is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just, give me admin rights to your house, and I'll just show up. And
I mean, you practically
hang
have
out.
them already. I love how we're just like airing dirty laundry while still on Twitch.
Yeah.
How is everybody? How are you guys? Are we still alive? I think we're still alive. Yeah, we're still alive. My KBPS, we dropped like 60,000 frames. It's back now. My internet, I hope it doesn't.
roboted really bad in the middle of the show for a while.
Did I?
Yeah, but then it came back. So
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my net. It's
you have something else going on in the background?
no. Well,
Not
that's what I
me,
thought.
because I'm not there this time. It's usually
That's what
mine.
that's what I thought before we started, but I shut my computer down just in case. But you know what I think? We're coming up on summer, and it was supposed to be summertime that Spectrum is rolling out the gigabit internet in the area. So I'm wondering if they're doing like late night like operations to add to the infrastructure.
That could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
You should know enough to know that your traffic is highest at night. Everybody's fucking jerking off and playing video games.
Yeah, do it during the day when people are at work.
Seriously. Most of us.
I
Right.
absolutely hate it when they do like, there's going to be some downtime from 11 p.m. till 2 in the morning. Go fuck yourself. Do it at like noon.
Yeah. they
Like
should.
that's when everybody uses the internet is 11 o'clock at night. Like even if I'm not up jerking off, like I still have something on my TV that I'm streaming to go to bed.
Right.
Like,
Don't we all?
yeah, exactly. All right, go
I'll
do
talk
your
to you
thing.
later.
Cool. Good night, Twitch. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.